Hello everyone, you're welcome to our channel. You are most welcome to today's lesson, which is a lesson on mastering writer's effect questions. How you are to score your maximum grade or maximum score for the question 2D. If you're writing the Cambridge IGCSE First Language English in your paper 1 question 2D, you are required to carry out language analysis of some specified paragraphs. That is two specified paragraphs precisely. So what we'll be doing today, I'll be giving tips and techniques for the Cambridge IGCSE First Language English. So before we move on, let's get to see the language objectives for this class. And the first is you should be able to identify the key features of writer's effect questions. Then you're going to analyze language choices and their effects in specified paragraphs. Like I just mentioned, you'll be given two paragraphs to analyze. So you should be able to analyze these language choices and their effects in these specified paragraphs. And lastly, by the end of this class, the overall purpose of this class is that you should be able to structure a high level response using evidence and analysis. If this sounds good to you, or this what I just mentioned here is what you'll be looking for, then you should stay with me throughout this video or throughout this lesson. And you could support what I'm doing by simply liking, sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel. All right, so let's proceed with understanding the question. What are the key features of the question 2D? The first one is that you are required to analyze how a writer uses language to create meaning and effect. This is the big deal here. You should be able to analyze how a writer uses language to create meaning and effect. And then you'll be asked to focus on specific paragraphs as instructed. You must follow the prompt. You must follow the prompt, very, very important you do. Then you should identify and explain the effects of words, phrases, and imagery. Okay, now let's look at the math scheme. The math scheme, I will not be able to publish it yet now, but in the video that's in the description of the video, I'll be sharing the math scheme, the question, and the insert to the sample past question that we'll be using for this video. I'll put a link where you can download them. All right. So, what do the examiners look for? One, they look for clear understanding of explicit and implicit meanings. Explicit meaning is that information that you don't need to dig further to understand what has been said. For instance, I am hungry. I just told you I am hungry. You don't need anybody to tell you what Omashone has said. Omashone simply said he's hungry and he's hungry. But let's assume a writer is describing Mr. Omashone and is saying that I'm yawning, I'm stretching, like, I didn't tell you I'm feeling sleepy or maybe I'm hungry, but from my action, you could tell that Omashone is hungry or is sleepy, whichever of them. Okay, so that is implicit. What is not said on the surface, but you need to use your own initiative. You need to use your IQ to decode what is being said. But that's not all. You should use precise language analysis. You should precisely analyze how language achieves effect. Don't be vague. Be straightforward in your analysis. Then the choices of references of phrases or words you're going to be making use of should be thoughtfully and relevantly picked. It should be selected thoughtfully and they should be relevant to what you're saying. Make sure that your explanation and the picked phrase or word, they are both in sync. All right. Now, the last is you should use effective explanation. You should effectively explain the imagery that has been identified. Now, what do you need to achieve top band? What do you need to achieve top band? The first is address both specified paragraphs equally. Don't spend more time on one over the other. You've been given, all right, let me just quickly show you the the question itself. So you can see here, you'll be given the word count between 200 to 300. So if you are spending, let's assume you decided to write maybe 250 words, you could write maybe 110 word on one, 130 or 40 on the other, but like they should be equally taken care of. And then when we say addressing them equally, you shouldn't pick two instances from one paragraph, or that is two references from one paragraph, and you take four from another paragraph, or you take three from another paragraph. You should equally address all of them. That is what we're talking about. So now, you should use a range of examples. Your example should not be monotonous. Please excuse me for that. All right, should not be monotonous. You should use examples of imagery, language features, like even the use of grammar or the use of sound devices, use of length of your sentence. For example, a writer could use short sentences to indicate a fast-paced event, whereas long sentences such as complex sentences or compact sentences to indicate slow pace and complicated event. You understand? So you should look all through and through. You should look at everything that has been presented to you in the paragraph. Then you should provide insightful analysis. What I say, you should provide insightful analysis, not just mere description. Now, let us check our understanding of what we've done so far. Which of the two options here is correct? Which of them would you need to score your top band? Right? So you can pause and think over it. But now, if you actually chose B, it means you're correct. Yes, you're actually correct if you chose B, because for you to achieve your top band or your top score or top mark, you should be explaining how language create meaning and effect. Do you get that? If you are learning something, please don't forget you can like, share, and subscribe. Now, let's go on to step-by-step approach to this question. The first thing to do is to identify the specific paragraph and focus on them. As in the case of the one you've seen, not quite long, like I just showed to you, the specified paragraphs are paragraph 2 and paragraph 15. Moving on, the next thing is to highlight striking words from the paragraphs, striking words, phrases, and imagery. You should be thoughtful enough, careful enough, patient enough to look into the paragraph holistically and look out for those striking words, phrases, and imageries. Do you get that? All right, we're going to do some activity. I will be. This is this a screenshot of the question. So, but you at this point, I would advise you go and download the file from the description, and you can also see the the link to download the file on the screen currently. So you can download the file now for us to go on to do the next activity in this class. And the activity is you're going to skim through paragraph 2 of text C and highlight one of the phrases that stand out. You can actually highlight many of the phrases, as many of them as you can highlight. Go on to highlight them. So let's go on over here to highlight uh, some of these phrases. So I have opened my insert. So I'm going there right now to carry out my analysis. Let's go to text C. Here we are, text C. Alright, so and paragraphs that have been given to us to analyze are paragraph 2. Then I saw Lily Pond. Now, if you are thoughtful enough, you will see that. Let me bring up my highlighter. Alright, you will see that this phrase, an artist's vision of what a pond ought to look like, should strike you, should strike a chord. I'm going to explain later on. That is one of the one I've seen. Now let's check another one. Fragrant aquatic. I couldn't take that F for long. Fragrant aquatic flowers of pristine perfection. I think the alliteration is for me there. Of pristine perfection, right? Um, then another one I can see too is this one, matted profusion. Matted profusion. We'll be looking at them. These examples I'm picking, are they part of what you have chosen so far? If you have chosen any of these ones, that means you are on track. But this is not all of it. I want to dwell more, very much on this first paragraph because I won't have the time to analyze the paragraph 2, this paragraph 2 and paragraph 15 in this video. I don't want to spend too much of your time here. I just want you to get the idea and know how to go about it. So I'll be doing this with you, and I expect you to do the 15 on your own. Now, another one I'm going to see, I think, I'm going to look at again is their overlapping. I think this one is something I need to look into. The overlapping pad. Okay, now okay, the slide breeze. I think I should have taken from the slide breeze. The slide breeze caused the overlapping pads to tip on edge, seizing my attention again and again. Good. Yeah, you could actually add the slide bridge cause whatever. Yes, you can add them, of course. And then seizing my attention again and again is actually striking by itself. So you could just pick seizing my attention again and again, or you take a hold of it. I think it's still fine. Then another thing I can still see is this. I'm trying to change my highlighter color. I like color. I like to play with colors. Alright, so we see bug-eyed frogs and fat bumblebees. Yes, I think this one is also striking too. Yes, even bury their heads in plants' floating blossoms is still a good one to look into. But I rather want to go on to this one. Um, a complex tangle of life. A complex tangle of life. This is another one we could look into. A complex tangle of life. Are you following? Good. Then we also see that the writer made mention of the pool be enchanting. Look at it, enchanting pool. This should be a striking one too. Enchanting pool. And again, let's see. The beavers who created them, they are still in residence. I think I'll just take everything, maintaining their engineering feats. You could just take only one part of them. For example, the beavers who created them were still irresident. You could work with that alone, fly with that, or you could uh, move on with the both of them or the latter. Okay, yeah. So now we've done that. Let us go on to see what you've done. Let's see what you've done so far. Let's see what you've done. So this is what I have been able to highlight from the activity we did. Does yours have similarity with what I have here? Are you able to pick any of these ones? Good. Now the next thing we're going to do is to learn the step-by-step approach to this question. The first thing is organize your answer. You are to use two distinct sections, one for paragraph 1, or that is the first paragraph that has been mentioned, and the other for the other paragraph. As in our case, the first section should be for paragraph 2 and the second section for paragraph 15. And you are to choose 3 examples from each paragraph. You get? Then now you're going to move on to explain the effect. And when you explain the effect, you go beyond just talking about the denotative meaning of the expressions or the phrase or words as it may be. You should go on to consider the connotations, the tone, and imagery. Are you following? Maybe I'm moving too fast. All right, okay, but it's fine. If I'm moving too fast, you may want to pause the video and digest some of the information you've gotten, then move on to continue with the video. Or you can even slow the pace if you wish, or you can slow the speed of the video as well. Now the next is connect the language to the writer's purpose. Now I would like you to understand that no writer, or the understanding generally is that no writer writes because he or she wants to write. They write because they are purposeful. They have a reason for saying whatever they say. And that is the reason why you, as a student of English or English and literature, you shouldn't just be caught in the loop of your own word. All right, you should be thoughtful before you say any word, because every single word that is used is expected to have been thoughtfully used. So all the words that have been used in the passages or in the paragraph that you've been given, we assume that they were carefully selected by the writer to achieve a specific effect on you, the reader. So you should be able to connect the language choices you've chosen to the writer's purpose. Now, we're going to do another activity. So far, we've been able to highlight about 8 or 9 um, instances from the text, right? From the text. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 instances from the text. What you're going to do now is to write a sticky note, explain the effect of the phrase you've highlighted. Maybe you highlighted more than one phrase. You could just write some explanatory note on the effect of these phrases you've highlighted. But let's assume you are unable to highlight any one that you feel, oh, it's not strong enough. You can pick any of these ones I've mentioned here that I've published here on your screen. You can see them clearly, right? Good. So what you're going to do is to analyze them. What does the writer have in mind for saying that? Okay, for using such expression. You may want to pause the video and ruminate on all of this. Get your work done before you proceed with the video. Is that cool? Good, you. All right, let's check what you've done. Whether what you have shares similarity with what I have here. The first is an artistic vision of what a pond ought to look like. What do you think this means? Yeah, means, okay? That is, the effect of this is the fact that the metaphor likens the pond to a carefully crafted artwork, suggesting it is deliberately designed and aesthetically flawless. There's no mistake with it. Everything is perfect about it. And this creates a sense of awe, positioning the pond as an embodiment of natural perfection. Are you with me here? Good. Now let's look at the next one. Fragrant aquatic flower of pristine perfection. I can feel some rhythm there. Apart from the alliteration, fragrant aquatic flowers of pristine perfection. Did you notice any rhyme or rhythm are there? So now let's look at the import of this explanation. Mind you, your explanation must not be exactly as mine, but they should share some similarity. There should be some similitude between what you have and what you can see on the screen now. Okay, now look at what we have here. The alliteration, pristine perfection, emphasizes the purity and untouched beauty of the flowers. Did you see that one? Now let's check the word pristine. The word pristine means primordial, like from the beginning, from the origin, from time immemorial, from creation time, right? That's what the pristine means, from the very beginning. Perfect, like untouched, nobody has touched it. Maybe the pond has been there, unruffled, untouched, by no human contact with it from the time it has been created to that time, giving the impression that the writer is about the first person to have visited that place. Something sort of. Okay? Now the adjective fragrant, the adjective fragrant adds a sensory appeal. The word fragrance, you could almost smell the aroma or the scent of the environment, thereby immersing you, the reader, in the scene. You can't, I don't know how you're feeling. I could actually imagine the place that is being described here. I could create an image of it right in my head right now. So you should be able to do that. And what makes it to be possible is the use of these visual, relatable imageries by the writer. But we're not stopping there. We have matted profusion. Matted profusion, the term matted conveys thick interwoven abundance, while profusion highlights overflowing richness. Now together they create an image of the pond being drenched in life and color. You following all of this we've been doing so far? Good you. Remember, you can always like, share, and subscribe. Let's move on. Like I've mentioned, I tend to explain all of the instances, all of the references with all of the phrases and words we've highlighted from the past, from the paragraph. I tend to explain all of them. Okay, so now let's look at this one. The slight breeze cause their overlapping parts to tip on edge, seizing my attention again and again. Again, the part that missed me the most is the again and again. I don't know. Have you ever disturbed um, a calm water before? If you've been to a stream, or if not even a stream, if you've been to water body, when the breeze is on it, the ripple the water creates, and it moves like rhythmic. It comes on again and again. You can feel it. All right, maybe you can feel it. Don't mind me. I can have you have some kind of wild imagination, like creating a whole lot of things in my head. But let's not go too far from what we're doing. So let's check out what it means. The verb season personifies the pond's movements, suggesting it actively captivates the observer. You're getting it? The repetition of again and again mimics the rhythmic hypnotic motion of the water. All right, like it is transfixing. Like when you see it, you can't just stay away. You just like feed your eyes gluttonously. So reinforcing the irresistible allure of the lily pond. Right. So the next is the bug-eyed frog and the fat bumblebee. Very pictorial, right? Now, this playful exaggerated description, which is zoomorphism, injects humor and vibrancy into the scene. The specificity of bug-eyed. Why should it be bug-eyed? The writer is being the writer or the speaker here has keen eye to be able to be so detailed to identify that this is a bug-eyed frog, you know, and fat. Look at the word fat. This word adds some visual clarity, making the pond feel lively and teeming with character. I think the word fat, even the bumblebee that he chooses to, or he or she chooses to even mention, gives us a sense of run creature of a sort. Okay, so let's proceed. Now we also see complex tangle of life. The metaphor tangle suggests organized chaos, highlighting the pond's diverse interconnected ecosystem. And this reinforces the theme of nature's busy, purposeful energy. Have you learned anything so far? Let's proceed to look at the remaining two uh, effects that were highlighted earlier on. The beavers who created it were still in residence, maintaining their engineering feat. Now, the beavers are portrayed as skilled engineers, say who had created them. You know, they are being equated to humans. Now, with engineering feat, elevating their dam building to a human-like achievement. This personification underscores nature's intentionality and craftsmanship, evoking admiration for its ingenuity. Something I want to point out here, you can see in my write-up, I've tried to be as clear, or that is in my explanation, I've tried to be as clear as I can be. If you would agree with me, I'll be making use of some real technical words, intentionality, craftsmanship, admiration, just to mention the few on this particular slide. Now, what I want to let you know is that you mustn't sound bombastic. Yeah, don't use words because they sound great. If you don't know the import of the word you're using, the added meaning, both the immediate and extra meaning that can be associated with the word you're making use of, if you don't know the overall meaning of the word, the best thing is to be very cautious. Take caution before you use any word because you might be so carried away using words that you think are great, whereas you are sounding. So please, you have to be very careful with the word you're making use of. Okay? All right. So the last one we want to work with now, we're going to look at is enchanting pool. Have you been to an enchanting vicinity, environment, or uh, landscape before, or any place? Now, they say this place is enchanting. The lily pond is enchanting. So the adjective enchanting adds a magical quality, framing the pond as a place of misery and wonder. It deepens the reader's emotional connection to the setting. So if what you have is similar to what you've seen so far, then you are on the right track. So, but you can actually carry out the analysis, you can share your what you've got. It doesn't matter, like I said, it must be exactly as what you've seen. Now you can share yours and put in the comment section, and I will look into it and share with you what I think of it. And if you don't want to come public, my email is open to you, tutor@gmail.com. Right? Tutor@gmail.com. You can always reach out to me, and by God's grace, I will respond to you as soon as I can. All right. So let's move on. How to structure your answer. Your answer should take the shape of a typical essay. For this essay, you could have a brief statement of what the writer achieves in each paragraph. And then for your paragraph analysis, you are to select key phrases, three of them. You have to remember what we just did. We did complete analysis of the paragraph. So out of those eight instances or phrases that I've just mentioned, we analyzed, you are actually supposed to pick just three of them. Very easy, out of eight. As you have in this paragraph, and for paragraph 15, you're still going to be having almost as much, if not more, than that. But you are only expected to pick three out of the whole lot. So it shouldn't be too difficult for you to do, should it? Good. Now you are to select three key phrases like I've mentioned, then go on to explain their meaning and effect. Then, of course, when you've done all that, you summarize how the writer's language achieves the overall effect. Now, these are the common pitfalls you should avoid. Don't merely describe the language without analysis. Another one is the tendency of you to ignore one paragraph and focus on the other. Maybe because one paragraph has more uh, relatable content. All right. So you should try all you can to make sure that whatever you're saying, you have a balanced analysis of both paragraphs. Don't ignore one over the other. I have seen cases whereby some learners will only just analyze one paragraph and leave the other totally. Whereas in some cases, they will analyze one fully and partially the other. At other time, just on and on. Then don't be vague in your comment. Don't say, the phrase is nice. The writer, this phrase creates powerful imagery in the mind of the reader. Yes, we are aware. The examiner is aware that it creates powerful imagery in the mind of the reader. What is that powerful imagery that has been created? We want to know. Are you with me there? We want to know that powerful imagery that has been created. Don't just say, this is a nice phrase. What makes it nice? That is what we want to look at. We want to see, rather. Now, another thing is failing to link language to the writer's purpose. Like I've already mentioned, no writer uses word uh, in a vacuum. There's a reason for using the word. So you should link the language to the writer's purpose. That is, why did the writer say this? Why did the writer use this word or this phrase? You should be able to link them up. Now, let's practice. If you are seeing this video on YouTube, like I told you, the links to all of these materials, all of the added materials are in the description. So look at the insert, look at the question, and do the task. And the task says, reread paragraphs 2 and 15. You can see it already, and it's about Anna's first impression of Lily Pond. Then you are to aim for all of it. You can see it on the screen. You can pause and check it out. I would like you to take note of those words in bold. You can see that 3 is in bold. Um, each is in bold. Each means that you're to pick 3 from one and 3 from the other. And look at the word count between 200 to 300. Check out the mark that's at stake. So you shouldn't attempt this question shabbily. It's not good you attempt this question shabbily. Okay, so that's just about it. Now you can actually set about your work, because I'll be sharing with you what a good one looks like. What a good one looks like. All right. So This is a model answer. In paragraph 2, the writer uses vivid imagery to convey Anna's awe at the beauty of Lily Pond. Like I told you, a short introduction. All right. Now, the phrase an artist an artist's vision of what a pond ought to look like evokes the idea of an idealized picturesque scene as if crafted deliberately rather than occurring naturally. I have successfully analyzed one of the phrases I've given, I highlighted. Now I move on. Now, this is still move on to talk about that. This underscores Anna's admiration and suggests a sense of perfection. Now, similarly, moving on, fragrant aquatic flower of pristine perfection highlights the purity and unspoiled beauty of the lilies. The alliteration emphasizing their flawlessness and enhancing their sensory appeal. And remember the alliteration is the pristine perfection PP alliterated. Even fragrant aquatic flower. Now of fragrant and of flower are both alliterating. Okay, so now this then the description blanketed. Now there's this something I want to before I move on to that other part. There's something I want you to understand. Don't even your choice of when you're analyzing your choice of words should vary. Sometimes I've met some of the scripts. You say the writer's use of no, yes, it's okay to use the writer's use of the phrase, but you shouldn't continuously use it all through. All right. So now here we say like the you listen this here. I said the description blanketed this fresh water in such marked profusion creates an image of abundance and completeness, with the lilies covering the pond entirely, conveying a sense of richness and vitality in the ecosystem. Here I have successfully analyzed paragraph 2. Then I moved on to paragraph 15. Remember, I didn't go on to highlight the striking phrases and words from paragraph 15 like I did for paragraph 2 because of our time constraint. Okay, so now in paragraph 15, the writer portrays Anna's fascination with the beavers through language that emphasizes their enigmatic nature and remarkable abilities. Again, I started it off with a brief introduction of what language has been used of what language has been used to achieve in the paragraph. Now the phrase silent invisible squad, take note of what squad, likens the beavers to a covert military unit working with precision and stealth, creating an air of misery around these creatures. All right. Now the description of their odd lumpy shape as resembling some mythical beasts highlights their uniqueness, likening them to creatures from folklore, which adds to their magical and captivating quality. Then I moved on. Finally, a flat tail, beautifully etched as if by skilled craftsmen, personifies the beaver's tail, attributing artistic intentionality to its design and evoking a sense of wonder at nature's intricacy. Like I've told you, for you to actually do well in your analysis, generally in English, you should be very, very well grounded uh, in your use of grammar and have some wide variety of vocabulary. Right? You need to have great repertoire of vocabulary because this is first language English, and what we're doing here is to demonstrate to the examiner that you've got the English in you and you can use it to express your ideas freely without any limitation. All right? Yeah, so you need to work on that. And finally, after all of this, I brought out my last paragraph, which is summative. I said that through these carefully chosen words and phrases, the writer effectively conveys earnest admiration for both the aesthetic beauty of Lily Pond and the extraordinary qualities of the beavers, immersing the reader in a perspective and evoking a profound appreciation for the natural world. Okay, now here it is. So the next thing I want to talk about, because we're already getting close to the end of our class, and before we go there, I would like to explain to you what makes this model example a top scoring model. That is a model or a typical answer that could give you 13 to 15 marks. All right. Now, first of all, the answer integrates detailed analysis of language. Secondly, it explains the effect of imagery and word choice. And thirdly, it demonstrates an understanding of how the writer achieves these effects. And this is about what you were asked to do. Do you understand? Good. Now, the final tips for success. I cannot overemphasize the first tip I have for you here, which is practicing regularly with past papers. If you don't have past papers to practice with, you can send me a mail or you can even drop it in the comment section. You can drop your email in the comment section or you just send a mail to Tutor Marshone and I'll furnish you with all the past papers from 2020 to 2024. Okay, or whatever the time, because you could see this video anytime, whatever time you see this video, maybe in 2027 anytime, and I am still there. I will share with you the the past papers because I'm collating them for people like you. Okay, so you should practice regularly, and you can practice writing by yourself, then check on your answer with the marking guide, look at what the math scheme requires, and you can give it to any of your English language teachers. Maybe it could be your lesson teacher, or even share it with me. And as much as I can, I'll try and respond to your inquiries as soon as I can. Okay? Then the next thing is focus on analyzing effect, not just identifying devices. Because if you identify the devices without adequate analysis of the effects, you wouldn't be scoring much. You will be actually at the lowest one, about maybe at level 2 also. Okay, and use specific and precise vocabulary in your explanation. Just as we assume that the writer was intentional in using those words in the text, so we also want to assume that, or that is the examiner want to assume that you are being intentional with every single word you are using in your analysis. You should be precise and intentional with your words. Then, of course, before you begin your writing, plan how you intend to write. Have an idea of the end from the beginning. Okay? Plan your answer before you write. So, this is just about it today. And you can actually check my website. That's my blog precisely, tutoromashone.wordpress.com, where you can have other materials to work with as well. Okay, so thank you for being with me through this class. And don't forget, you can always do well to support what I'm doing by liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. All right. So till I come your way again, you are on to Tito or Mashane. You have a great time. Bye for now.